as well as you. Okie dokie, right then. So just starting off, standing nicely with your feet hip distance apart, a little bit of softness in your knees. And let's just bring that focus into the center, coming into our breath. And just begin to try and sort of focus a little bit more on that long inhalation. Deep breath right down to the base of the lungs, because with that breath in that comes nice and deep, we can send out a nice long exhale. Good. And just flow again at your own pace, breathing in through the nose. Long exhale. Do one more. Really encourage you to try and bring that focus from your outside world into your center. Long deep breath in, and then slow steady breath out. Okay, let's add a little bit of movement now. Keep your eyes closed if you wish, because we're going to just do some roll downs. So super slow, starting at the crown of your head, peeling down through your spine, one bone at a time. Every joint in the spine is going to move, but we've got a few of these. So the first one might just be a tiny little spine bend, followed by growing tall again. And then repeat, moving a little deeper with every roll down. Let's keep it really slow, steady movement. Try not to let your mind wander back elsewhere to the challenges you may have faced today or the worries that you've got about tomorrow. Even if that's just, what am I going to cook for dinner later? Don't worry about that for now. We're just focusing on these spines and these bones in the spine, moving as we come into the roll down and then building up tall as we stack. We've got two more. So maybe start to come a little deeper and further into those roll downs if you feel happy to. Still just moving with gentle movement, not forcing it, because we haven't done a huge amount to get the blood flowing. So bodies just need the chance just to softly open up. Little weights carrying you down towards the floor in the tips of your fingers. And then we'll use this next one just to get us as deep as we can this evening, hanging in that forwards fold. Still go super slow. Really enjoy that slow, purposeful movement. Every bone in your body flexing down, curling down until you're hanging over soft knees. And then we'll just take it into that little knee bend that we do. One leg bends, the other leg straightens, just alternating side to side. Lovely. Then we're going to do a double bend of the knees, so dipping both knees and then straightening both knees, and try and keep your hands just hanging where they are. So when you push into those straight knees, you should feel a bit more tension in the back of your legs, but only doing with what works well for you. Good stuff. Still breathing well. Really feeling that opening in the base of the spine, and then straighten both legs and hold. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Super bending down now, coming onto your mat. Box position. We go straight into our cat-cow, just to get a little bit more flexion and extension through that spine. Should have opened up the back quite nicely with those back bends, but still easing into these. Breathing in to move, breathing out to stretch. In to move and out to stretch. Two more. Well done. Enjoy these. Looking good, everyone. Okay, Coming into that midpoint now, so somewhere between your cat-cow, we're going to focus in on some hip work, and then we'll combine it with the core. So you're going to look down at the floor, but feel free to take a check-in on what we're doing first. Once you're there, looking down at the floor, shoulders down, tail long. We know this setup now. It's all about a nice flat spine. So we're not arched here. And that's really important as we add the next movement in. So draw your tummy towards your spine, flatten your back. We're going to keep that spine nice and central as we take that right leg, push the heel up towards the ceiling, keep the right knee bent, press the heel, hold it there, point the toes, stretch the leg away, tummy to spine, flex the heel up to the ceiling again, and then fold the knee back down. Okay, so a little combination to get our brains around. We're warming up now, so flex the heel, left side now, heel up to the ceiling, keep that thigh lifted as you stretch your leg away, then strike your heel, drawing it back up towards the ceiling again as you lower down. Now, there are two ways that this can be done. This can be done with no control and really arching at the back and shifting off to one side, or it can be done with beautiful precision and keeping that weight in the center as we stretch and we flex and we lower. And if you're like me and a bit tight in the front of your hips, which we're going to be working on this evening, you'll find lifting that leg up might bring a little bit of a stretch in the front of your thigh as we engage the glutes and lengthen the hip flexors. So really squeeze your bottom. It's the bottom that lifts you up towards the ceiling. And then we lengthen and we flex and we lower. Good. Keep going with that little pattern with a lovely stable spine. Let's keep those heads floating up to the ceiling, shoulders down away from the ears. You look great. Well done. I've got such good camera angles on here this evening as well. So try not to twist. Try and keep your weight in the center as best as you can. Sorry, I've not really given you an option with this. So do what works for you, resting down in between, getting the weight off your ankle, your wrists if you need to at any point. Beautiful. Keep it going. So heel up, toe point, heel up and down. We're going to do 2 more rounds, okay? So hopefully starting to feel a good kind of glow building up now in the hips. We're going to work on that. And I really want you to focus on drawing that tummy up towards your spine as you hold the weight of your leg in your trunk. Squeeze, release, squeeze, and lower. 1 more round on each side. Keep that waist nice and level. Squeeze your bottom as you lift. Wrists getting a good workout at the same time. Shoulders working hard too. Okay, you're going to come into a rest if you need to. Just sit back into your heels for a moment. But then when we're ready, we're all going to go over to that right leg. We're going to lift that heel up towards the ceiling and we're going to really squeeze the bottom. Hold this position. So set your position when you're ready. Draw your tummy to spine and hold here. Now don't let your back arch. We're not here. We've got that lovely length in the spine. So imagine somebody just lifting the back of your waistband up towards the ceiling, really hollowing the tummy to the spine. And for those of you that want a bit more, we take that hold and we pulse it. There's a panic button on the ceiling. You're pressing on that panic button. Get me out of this Pilates class. Keep pulsing. 10, 9, 8, 7. You're going to love this in a minute. 5, 4, 3, 2. Now straighten the leg out. Hold here. Really stretch that leg away. Hold. Or we're going to circle the leg. So you've got that glass of wine resting on your tailbone. As you circle your leg, don't spill it. Look down at your left leg. Have you shifted across to the left hip? Center yourself if you need to, and then change direction with your circles, really pressing into that right hand for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Come back in and rest back. We're halfway there with this hip sequence. Over to the left side when you're ready. Set back up, back into your box. Lifting up with that left heel now. Knee stays bent. We hold here so the back doesn't arch. Nice and long with the back. Check you've not lifted over to the left, sorry, to the right. Maybe press into your left hand, tummy to spine. And for those of you that want that little bit more, we pulse. That's it. So just pressing your heel up to the ceiling will be really focused on your bottom contracting with every single pulse. 10, 9, 8, 7, looking strong. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Extend the leg out, point the toe, tummy to spine, and then little circle motions with that leg. If you don't want to circle, just hold. Keep that control at your waist. Don't shift onto your right hip. Stay in the center. And then change direction with those legs. 3, 2, and 1. Good work. Okay, sit back into your heels and just give your wrists a little rest, because we're going back for some planks in a moment. But just sit back into your heels, shift your weight from side to side, circle your wrists round. Well done, everybody. So hips really focus in there, going into those glutes, but building up the load through the upper body. Okay, back to box position, this time with the toes tucked underneath, still working the core as we hover the knees off the floor. Lift and lower. Okay, head stays lifted, shoulders down, tail long, lift and lower. Tummy drawn to spine, really working hard, maybe pressing the knees gently apart as they raise off the floor, just to stop them from collapsing inwards. We want those knees stacked underneath the hips and not coming together. Lift and lower. So this is your first option. I'll progress you on shortly, but you can just do this level if it feels like a good enough challenge. These are really hard, just a couple of inches off the floor. Bottom doesn't need to come too high. Beautiful, well done. Exhale with the lift, much better. Okay, so second option is to add a little hold. So the knees come off the floor and we pause just to build up that endurance. Holding, 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 and lower. Okay, it's really up to you how long you hold. Depends how you feel, really, doesn't it? But making sure that you're holding with good quality. So if your back starts to ache, you feel you've lost control, your wrists are sore, it's a good idea to come down. So first option, lift and lower. Second option, lift and hold. Third option, this is strength and control now. So we lift those hips off the floor and we take the right heel and we kick it to the bottom. We take the left heel and we kick it to the bottom, and then we lower down. And we do all of that without losing that beautiful level pelvis. Okay, so we're not shifting over to get the opposite foot off the floor. Everything stays central. Point the toes up to the ceiling as you flick those heels toward your bottom. Okay, third option, heart rate coming up now. We didn't do much heart rate in the start, but we can definitely feel it now. Third option, we walk it out into a full plank. So we lift the knees up. Okay, pelvis stays level. Right leg extends, left leg extends. You're in a full plank. Keep that tummy engaged. Right leg comes in, left leg comes in, and you lower. So you'll notice as we do this, nothing moves from the top half. It's just those legs extending out and back in and lower. Okay, if it's not for you, you've got lots of options to work with. So I'm going to go for a little countdown. You choose which option you wish. Quick recap: lift and lower, lift and hold, lift and bum flicks, or lift and long legs, out, out, in. And maybe if you're doing anything with your legs, focus on alternating which leg leads the movement. Let me see, and then I'm going to join in because I feel like I want to have a go of these as well. Nice options, everyone. Well done. So whatever option you're doing, we're here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Now hold here. So either hold with the knees bent or with the legs straight. 10, 9. Tuck your tail underneath. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We did it. Well done. Knees down, sit back into your heels again. And this time we'll take it into our thread the needle. So pass your right hand underneath your left arm and twist to look to that side. Oh, feels good. Just a deep flex and twist. Excuse me. Okay, second side. So left hand passes through and we stretch. Okay, and then come back into your shelf stretch. Just once more, just press back into your heels and then slowly walk your hands towards you and come up to kneel. You can stay kneeling facing in or you can come to face forwards, but we're going to come up into a high kneeling position. So a little bit of work on the front of these hips now. So set yourself up in high kneeling, making sure that your knees are directly beneath your hips and you're not sitting back into your heels from here. We're just going to start with a little bit of pelvic tilting. Now, when we come into this high kneeling position and we pelvic tilt, we've made a little bit of a change to the position at the front of the thigh because we've bent the knee. So the muscle that runs across the front of the hip and the front of the knee is already on stretch at the bottom end. So when we do this little pelvic tilt and tuck under, we get even bigger stretch at the top. So you might feel a little bit more lengthening as you tuck and just gently pushing your pelvis forwards. Lovely. I can really feel my hamstrings working as I push forwards as well. Okay, keep your hands on your hips. Take yourself into a nice level pelvis. Just gently nuzzle your chin towards your chest, setting your center with your tummy to spine. We slowly lean back, keep the back straight. Exhale and inhale to come forwards. Remember these? It's been a while since we've done these, hasn't it? So tummy to spine, lean back, feel that stretch through the quads. Doesn't have to be far, remember. Even just the intention of pushing the shoulders behind the hips is a good place to start. And as you feel happier, we go a little deeper. And then we've got to use that recoil from the quads to bring us back up to that high kneeling position. Keep the tummy engaged. Inhale, exhale. We're going to hold this one if you wish, otherwise keep repeating. So either repeat or hold for 10, for 9, for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, or 3, 2, and 1. Lovely, come back, and I think we'll just sit back into the heels. One more time. Oh, what a good stretch that is. And not only is it a good stretch, but it's strengthening the thighs. So a good kind of combination movement to get both gains out of that stretching and strengthening. Okay, coming up to kneel this time with the left foot in front of the right. So you're in a half kneeling position. Okay, try and get your feet and knees bent, your knees bent, sorry, at 90-degree angle, and have your feet in a hip distance apart. So you're not narrow with your stance. Everything is nice and lined up. And notice how maybe your pelvis is kind of hitched across to the side. Let's just place the hands on the pelvic bone just to work into that nice level pelvis. And then we're going to come back to that pelvic tilt. And you should really feel that pelvic tilt now on that right hip as you tuck your tailbone underneath. Yeah, hopefully you can. Tucking under and releasing. This is great if you've been sat down all day. I'm so unused to sitting down all day. But 4.5 hours of meeting and training today has got me feeling to tighten these hip flexors. So just do a little bit more, okay? And then we find a neutral spine or maybe even a little tail tuck underneath so we can sustain that stretch. We're going to work on some upper back and neck posture work. So tummy gently drawn in. We come into our dumb waiter, little combo. We lengthen into our Cleopatra. Keep that Cleopatra as we tilt over to the left. Oh, wow. Feel that stretch. Back to the center. And back in. 3 more times, okay? So, tummy gently drawn to spine, shoulders down, collarbone long. Open the arms apart. Stretch and lengthen. Keep that tail tucked under. And now tilt. Really press into that right leg as you lean to the left. Back to center. Hopefully you're enjoying this. 2 more. Really working with your breath. Inhale, exhale. Gorgeous. Motion is definitely lotion. And 1 more. Holding this one if you can, tilting to the left, pressing that right knee into the floor, tucking your tailbone underneath for 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Lovely. Come back to the center, bring the arms back in and just ease out of that back hip. Ooh, and bring that leg behind. Okay, second side. You don't need to look graceful getting into this position. Some of us can just throw the leg around really easily. Others, we're kind of walking into it and finding ourselves in this position. And it's even a bit of a balance challenge as well. So no worries if you're kind of using a bit of support to the side of you. So once you're in that, I'll do this one side lying and side up. So tucking your tailbone underneath and arching. Keep your posture nice and tall so your center, your plumb line of your body runs down your head, down your spine to your tailbone. A little bit more work on that tucking under. Let me see you on this side. Good, well done. Feel free to pad those knees out if they don't like being pressured. Okay, finding your neutral spine. Lovely pelvic tilting there. Sorry, Claire, I think you're ahead of us. We're going to go into those arm movements now. Don't worry if you've already started. So elbows gently drawn in, lengthening out. This time we tilt over to the right hand side. So you're always tilting away from that back leg. Get a little bit more length through the front of the body. Back in and return. Exhale with the effort wherever that feels like it is. Good, 2 more. Enjoy these. You can still be working your center though by gently drawing the tummy inwards as we move the arms. Keep that posture lovely with the neck nice and long. Good, final one, taking it into a hold at the end if you feel able to. Open, lengthen and tilt for 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Excellent. Bring yourself out of that side tilt, bring those arms in and then just bring that leg forwards and swing those legs round to the front. We are going to do a little bit of reverse plank work now. So we did some front plank work, now we're going to do some supine plank. So again, it's been a while since we visited this, so do check in if you're not sure. This time we sit facing forwards with the arms just behind the hips, fingertips pointing to the side of the mat, and we just focus really on the posture to start with. So it's a really good one for setting a good neck and shoulder posture, because we really want to focus on pressing the floor away, lifting the chest, but keep that gaze forward so the head doesn't get thrown back. We look forwards, and this is where we begin, and we anchor the shoulder blades down into the mat. And if you feel like you can, just start to lift your hips away from the floor and lower. And that lift, as you can see me here, I'm only doing a tiny lift. Just get used to that feeling. What we want to avoid is as you lift, you start to sink down. Okay, keep that lift and press through the arms, lifting up, up, and then lower down. Okay, it's up to you how high you go. It's been a while with these. You do feel these in the shoulders. So if you struggle with your shoulders, just do what you can. But we know we're here for challenge, and we know we get stronger when we challenge ourselves. Lifting and lowering. Trying to bring yourself up into a nice coffee table position. So can you bring your hips level with your knees? Don't worry if you can't, but that's where we're aiming. Keep looking forwards as we come up and down. Let's have a little squeeze of the pelvic floor as we go up, because we haven't done any pelvic floor this evening, and we need to always remember our pelvic floor. Very important. Good. Exhale with the effort and the engagement of the pelvic floor as we lift and lower. Good stuff. Okay, so this is option 1, lifting and lowering. Option 2, add the hold. You've probably worked out what's going to happen now because we did this earlier. Keep that pelvic floor engaged as we lift and hold, and then lower back down. And really focus on the shoulders as well. Make sure they don't round as they're pushing through. Really think about stretching along here. Okay, so lengthen, lift, pelvic floor. Okay, second option, we're going to take a little hover of one foot off the floor and then a hover off the other foot and lower down, and that hover doesn't have to be high. Again, just enough to see a little glimmer of light underneath your foot. Try and keep your pelvis level. You can check in here because we're going to be looking down at the pelvis. So as those feet come off the floor, what we're trying to avoid is this. Yeah, it's all about control at the pelvis as we come into 3-point contact. And that 3-point contact is really going to help with our strength and our stability. So as you lift your left foot off the floor, you might feel the arms working harder to stabilize. Okay, and then for those of you that want the final level, last challenge of the evening, I need the space. Okay, we're going to lift up. We're going to extend pointed toes, foot flat on the mat. 1, 2, full leg pull, supine. 3, 4, and lower. Out, out, in, in. You could do a little variation in between and do out, in, out, in. I'm just giving you options. I'm here for options. I love options if it keeps you going. Oh, this is tough. It's been a while since I did this. I don't think I've done this exercise this year yet. That tells you a lot. Okay, keep it going. We're going to do about 4 more rounds of whatever option you're doing. Keep that pelvic floor working hard as well. Goodness me, this is full body. This is heart rate. This is effort. This is work. Well done. Rest and join back in. 2 more. I'm loving the options. Well done. Okay, finishing with a hold. So hold either with the knees bent or with the legs out straight. Really press the hands into the floor. Push up. Open your chest to the ceiling for 5, 4, pelvic floor engaged. 3, 2, and 1. We made it. Come down. Bring those knees slowly into your chest and just give yourselves a seated hug. Oh, I really feel that in my elbows. Very rare that we work the elbows, but that was elbows for me. So just enjoy a moment of arching, curving the spine, releasing the shoulders with a few rolls. And maybe that's something you can come back to this week, that little sequence of planks, facing down, facing up. Building so much with that strength and stability. And we've got some lovely hip flexor stretches that we worked on this evening. So when you feel ready, bring yourself back up to sit and then come back to say good night.